Well, it's still earnings season, and most companies are going to continue posting their results for the first quarter of the year. Of course, it is the last trading month of the second quarter of the year, so more results will continue to hit the market. And of course, according to what stockbrokers said earlier on the show, this could continue to positively affect investors' appetite for equities. And of course, we'll get more on that later on in the day when market closes. But of course, we're still talking about growing productive jobs in the agriculture sector. And I still have here with me in the studio an agricultural economist and a professor of agriculture from the Federal University of Abeokuta. He's here with me, Professor Bola Okuneye, and of course an agric information broker and consultant, African Farmer Mortgagee. Thank you so much for sticking around.
Thank you.
Well, let's quickly, wrap up this conversation because we're almost past spent for time. Mr. Mortgagee, if you can, how can new farm technology, because we've been talking about green agriculture, I kept harping on the fact that we should have mechanized farming, but how can new farm technology be spread to increase the employment potential in agricultural sector?
Okay, one, the benefit of the technology coming into agriculture is one, it increases productivity, efficiency and effectiveness, meaning you don't have to use, if you're supposed to use 10 acres, you can actually begin to use 3 acres. Case in view, like yesterday, we harvested cucumber from one of our clients' farms. Got about 40 bags from a previous 7 bags from 2.5 acres, all by using improved hybrid seeds. Okay, so ideally, other seeds will give about 15 to 20, but that brought 40. Same area of land.
Bountiful harvest, if you ask me.
And it's going. The next one should be like 80. It should be double. So using improved seeds, leveraging on technology like drip irrigation and equipment, would increase profitability. Recently in the Nigerian corn production, maize production, some chemicals have just come into the town where you only apply it once and you don't weed again, as against weeding twice. So you're cutting about 20,000 naira off your production cost by just spending 3,000 naira. So technology has, a lot of advantage when it's embraced and applied at the right time.
Professor Okuneye, you want to add to that?
Yes. I think there are 3 other areas that can be added to what he has rightly said. The first one is practicing organic agriculture that will enable the output to have higher price. And by the time you have higher price, then you can now invest more. The other one is the issue of timeliness. When you have improved technology being properly distributed and adopted, there's timeliness in your production. And the third one is the issue of minimizing the gestation period. When you have improved varieties or improved breeds, the number of days or months that the plant will take to mature will be shortened. And therefore, you can have various cycles of such a commodity. And all this will lead to increased productivity, and therefore, more people can then be employed into agriculture, and more money can then be obtained by the time you increase your level of production. The other area is also the other side of the equation, is the issue of demand, sensitizing demand. That means the issue of advert, the issue of making handbills, going to media houses and projecting it. By that, there will be increased demand for your product, and you can then increase your level of production. With that, you can then have more money and then employ more people.
Well, next month, already, this is the last, so I can safely say next month, the World Economic Forum Africa meeting begins in Abuja, and one of the sessions is going to be focused on agriculture. Everybody understands the importance of agriculture, no doubt about it, because from this conversation we've had, it's definitely going to increase the robustness and inclusive growth that we've been talking about, as well as creating jobs in Africa. So in Nigeria now, what area of the sector should be showcased for investment, and that will, in turn create jobs for the citizens, as we have most of this participants from different countries coming in.
In the first place, among the various commodities being produced in Nigeria, we have certain commodities that we know that we generate more job, we create more job, and those are basically the starship materials, the grains, the cassava, potato, and similar other commodities. Research has shown that more job can be created by intensifying the production of those. Even though we have the comparative advantage in the production of some of these, we don't still have the competitive advantage. So we can then move forward towards having competitive advantage in them when compared with some other countries, when you consider the border prices vis-a-vis the local prices. The other one is, of course, the issue of the population of the country. And therefore, the labor cost is lower than many other developed countries. And so, by the time you have more things in agriculture in Nigeria, of course, the labor cost is lower, and labor cost controls about 40–50%. So that area too can be properly looked at.
Okay, but Mr. Mogaji, as we end this conversation,
I would say small and medium scale processing. That's value addition. What we've seen so far is investors coming to set up very massive processing plants, and most of them, less than 3 years down the line, they are not functioning again. So small and medium scale, let's just copy and paste Asian model. If we're talking about China, Malaysia, they are all thriving on small and medium scale processing that is based in the rural communities. So small, medium scale, value addition, and seed production. When I mean seed, not only for crops but livestock. What we have mostly in the country is garbage. It's garbage because it's all imported, and the people importing bring in low quality. So if we have research institutes funding in research and developing new varieties of crops and new genes, then we can have a robust jobs created.
Well, thank you so much, Africa Mogaji, for coming on the program this morning. Now, Professor Bola Okuneye, thank you also for coming on the program. Well, we've been looking at growing productive jobs in the agricultural sector. It's been an interesting conversation. Let's keep this conversation going on any of our social media platforms. But that's the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Abini.